Today we're going to talk about anatomical movement and use the technical terms for movement of the joints in the body. So instead of using moving something up or bending something, we're going to learn the technical words and the words that you will find in any medical book. And this will help you out when we are talking about the muscles and the different actions that they cause. You'll be able to understand this a little bit better knowing these terms. The first term we're going to talk about is flexion. And flexion is the closing of a joint space or bending something basically. So here you see that the elbow is bent in a flexed position. The neck is kind of a weird joint since it moves in so many different directions. We also have lateral flexion, but it only occurs in the neck. That is the only place you will ever see this term, and this is what it looks like. The opposite of flexion is extension, and it is the opening of a joint space. So here you see that the arm is straightened in an extended position. The next term is abduction, pronounced abduction really, and it is moving away from or subtracting from the midline. This is what abduction looks like in the hip. It's easier to remember if you use the letter instead of just saying the word, abduction instead of abduction, because you also have adduction. And adduction is moving towards or adding to the midline. So AD and abduction, just to keep them straight. This is what adduction looks like in the hip. You can see that it is completely crossed over the midline, but this is still adduction. The next movement is supination, and supination happens when you rotate the palm up, like you could hold a cup of soup in your hand. That's an easy way to remember this one. Pronation is the opposite of supination, and so it is rotating the palm down. There is no easy way to remember it. Just try to remember the word and know that supination, you can hold the soup. External rotation looks like this in the shoulder, and it is rotating the distal limb away from the midline. So in this case, the hand. In the hip, it would be the foot. External rotation of the shoulder can also look like this if the arm is already in an abducted position. And this is internal rotation, which is the opposite. And this is moving the distal extremity towards the midline of the body. So this is what it looks like in the shoulder. And here is another example with the arm in an abducted position. Looks a little bit different, but it's still the same movement. So here are the movements in real life: extension, flexion, abduction, adduction, pronation, and supination, internal rotation, and external rotation. Now you try and name them on your own. I hope you learned a little something from this. We will cover it more in depth tomorrow in class, so please come prepared with any questions you may have. Thank you.